Matteo, really appreciate you taking time out of your afternoon to come here for an interview. How are you?
I'm quite good, thanks. Yeah, what about yourself?
Good as well. Just wondering, how's the weather over there in the UK?
It's not the best, to be honest, but yeah, UK, it's always unpredictable weather, so I'm quite used now, but yeah, can't complain.
How long have you been in the UK?
For 6 years now. I moved in 2016 for work, and now I'm stable here.
Okay, for work. So are you still working a 9 to 5 or something similar?
So I'm working now. Basically, I have more jobs. So my first role, the reason why I moved here to the UK is that I am a mechanical engineer, and I'm still working as a mechanical engineer in a company. But then recently, I also have another job. I opened my own limited company, and I start my e-commerce business as well. So these are my main two activities at the moment.
What would you attribute to the real world in terms of, did the limited company starting that, does that have any kind of involvement with the real world? And then the e-commerce as well, store, does that have any involvement? Did that make sense?
Yes. So basically, I started to get approached towards the e-commerce world from a friend from Italy. But then once I realized that how is the e-commerce world, I realized that my knowledge in terms of business was zero. So I always been, I believe I'm still a good engineer, but in terms of business knowledge, I didn't know anything. So the reason why I approached the real world is because I was also, I was always following on Instagram these the contents from the real world. I was always fascinated about them, and in particular, I decided to join the real world because I believe that really would have given me much more insight in terms of either e-commerce side, and that's why I'm enrolled in the e-commerce campus, and also from a business point of view, how to run properly a business, and that's how I started to join the real world early this year, and I can still say that it's giving me a lot of insights and things I never thought about. So that's how I basically start my involvement into the real world.
Could you go a bit more in depth on how the real world contributed to maybe the success of your limited company? We can start with that.
So basically, the lesson that really contribute towards this success is the first lesson about the speed. So I realized that sometimes I was fast but not concrete, so I decided, okay, this is what needs to be done, and I just did it. So, and I kept that forward momentum, and I start to create this limited company, set up all the parts, set up the team, set up the services, the website. So that kind of speed is something that I didn't have before. So every time there was something to be done, before I was like a bit more, I wouldn't say procrastinating, but I wasn't fast enough. So after joining the real world, that's the main thing I've done, and this is how it's still benefiting me today, the speed concept of running a business.
Okay, great. And now on the other end, how did it help with your e-com store, the real world?
So for the e-commerce, there is another very interesting concept that I learned, and it's about doing things fast and well. And in the normal, let's say, society is seen as something that is not possible. Either you do things well or you do things fast. So I really push myself to obtain both. I always wanted to do things well, but not fast. So now I'm trying to do both. Of course, it's not easy because at the beginning, especially when I set up my store online, I start with some campaign that they didn't go well, but then I try to check exactly, go in deep and fast, and that really will help me to find the right pace and try to correct always my mistakes quickly, and that will what led me to start with some good sales and then to scale my business. So that's basically how this lesson also benefit me from e-commerce side.
Welcome Welcome to the real world!